So today's video is for marathon runners over 50. As a marathon runner over that age, you really should stop doing this particular thing, collecting a lot of knowledge and knowing a lot more than a lot more people, but not utilizing that knowledge to adapt. So becoming very stuck in your way. You are changing. As you get older as a runner, your body is changing. If you want to hit a certain goal, what can sometimes happen is you drive off that way and you end up going off this way, and you have this recurring thing of never quite hitting your goals, often blaming age as the main driver, which is a factor, but it's not as much of a factor as what I'm about to share. They let their ego run their training versus their willingness to adapt to change. Now, when I say ego, I don't mean being big-headed, but that feeling of fighting reality. In effect, acceptance isn't a passive thing. As you get older, don't find realities that you can't change, but do adapt to the ones that you can change. First and foremost, you've got to differentiate between what is real and is fantasy. You are getting older. Yes, there are some realities at play, but the difference between can and can't isn't always clearly defined. Look at what you've achieved over the last 12 weeks. Really focus in on what's worked and what's not worked over that period. It may have been a training block, or you may have had a race at the end of that time. What worked, what didn't work, and use that as the springboard to work with what I'm about to share with you. Now, there are, in my opinion, 6 key areas that you can impact as an older runner in your marathon training. You may be doing them, you may not, which are key areas that you can make a huge difference. Now, I'm not going to go into depth on all these areas, but they are in no order of importance. Strength training. Are you doing any strength training? It's key. It's a bit like having a car with a great engine. You may have a great engine in your car, but the moment you start to really use that engine, if the chassis is a bit old or flaky, bits are going to drop off. You've got to also adapt your training. Some people will say that you need to do less frequency as you get older. I think what you've got to look at is, like I said earlier, meet yourself where you are presently at. Do a good assessment of what your abilities are presently and set your training up that it meets you from that point. Not from the point that you think you should be, but the point where you presently are. Nutrition is another area. It's a massive area on its own. I know there's plate wars going on online which will tell you that you should be a carnivore, you should be a vegan, you should be this. What I would say is look what's on your plate. How much real food are you eating a week? And realize that this is the fuel for your running, but not only your running, your recovery. I'm a great fan of protein shakes at an end of a workout so that your body has a head start on to start rebuilding the micro tears that you've created while you've been working out that day. Part mindset is massive. As older runners, we need to look at our mindset around what we're doing with our running and not to ego run, to really work ourselves within our capacities. Our mindset has to shift as we get older in 2 distinct areas at the same time, almost seem like they're going in opposite directions. One, not to be delusional and not to ego run, but also in another way to not use age as an excuse. It is a fact, but it's, as I just keep repeating, it's not the fact always that is holding us back. Connected to strength training, mobility, even just getting out for more walks, being aware of your overall lifestyle. And what I mean by this, and this is the 6th point I'd make, but it's connected with mobility, is your lifestyle within your running. There are a lot of runners out there that run regularly, but their actual lifestyle is quite sedentary in itself, and this can be a factor in increased injuries. So if you excluded running completely, how active are you outside of running? Do you do any mobility training? If not, what is your mobility like day to day? Are you moving a lot generally? Do you get up, move around? What do you do at lunchtime? Could you use a standing desk if you work from home? What is your everyday mobility like? I will get up in most mornings, I will walk to work. Once I get to my work, I will do some stretching, just a simple 5 minutes, just to wake my body up a little bit more. So to finish the video, I just want to say it's about adapt or stagnate. That's what I see in runners over 50 with their marathons, is the ones that adapt, that look at age as a reality, but not as a life sentence. Look at those 6 areas. They adapt what they do or have been doing, and look at what's worked, what's not working, and adapt those things. They're the ones that move forward. They're the ones that have more chance of hitting the goals that they have for their marathons. The runners that run with their ego, just say, I want different results, but I'm going to keep doing the same thing, they're not going to get the results they want. They are going to stagnate, and they're going to find that there's going to be more frustration within their running. Hope you've got something from this video. If you have, I would love to hear your comments. And if you want to take this further, I do a free 10-day workshop called the Marathon Maximiser, where we look at your running and how you can move from stagnation to race ready, the things that you'll need to change in your training plan. If you're interested in that, there'll be a link below this video. Anyway, bye for now.